Hey, subscribers, thanks for stopping by. And if you happen to find me and you're not subscribed, I hope you'll push the button. Hit subscribe, it's free, and that'll help me out a lot. So, in case anybody still needs to be reminded of this, Vladimir Putin is a war criminal. Now, we've known that for a while. And we let's see, I'm going to read this part of this tweet from the U.S. ambassador, the outgoing U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. Let's see. Today, Palm Sunday, Russia launched ballistic missiles on Sumy, killing 32 Ukrainian civilians and injuring 99. Reports indicate, as in Kryvyi, excuse the pronunciations, I'm screwing it up. Cluster munitions were used, increasing the devastation and harm to civilians. So Vladimir Putin is purposely trying to kill as many people as possible, including children. He doesn't discriminate. This is a massacre. He wants to multiply the casualties. Now, in the past, there would be strong countries such as the United States that knew how to push back on Putin. It's not easy, but we still did it. Because of Trump, Putin can do whatever he wants, just like Trump is doing whatever he wants. So this goes along with Trump, which is almost crimes against humanity by throwing innocent people without due process, into prison camps in El Salvador. Okay? He wants to do this. Now, Putin should be charged with war crimes with the Hague, the International Criminal, whatever that is. Could spend life in prison, 30 years in prison, and they would ship him off to a prison in one of the countries that's listed under the Hague to take international criminals like Vladimir Putin. But I think that the one thing we need to start saying a lot, over and over and over again, Vladimir Putin is a war criminal. And we must remind MAGA and Fox News and Newsmax and all of these idiots, these traitors out there who are cozying up to Putin and think he's just fine. Okay? Cluster bombs are designed to kill as many people as possible. This is not about taking the land. This is now genocide. You understand? This is what's happening in Ukraine. Ukraine is our ally. Our official position before Trump was that we opposed him, we opposed Putin invading and taking Ukraine, and we therefore were helping them. That was our official position. It was acknowledged that Putin is an enemy of the United States. We know that Putin helped Trump get elected in 2016, 2020, and in 2024. The Republican-led bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee report, led by Marco Rubio at the time, in the first Trump administration, made it very clear that Vladimir Putin, that Russia, worked very, very hard to defeat Hillary Clinton and elect Donald Trump. We also know that it's always been about Ukraine. Always. Ukraine, the U.S. position on Ukraine, the type of weapons, military support, weapons that we would provide to them to fight Putin, was the only point, the only item in the Republican National Committee's platform that the Trump campaign got involved in. Remember that story? I've talked about this before because somehow I ended up getting embroiled in that later when I wrote about it, when I wrote about J.D. Gordon's role. J.D. Gordon worked for Trump. He worked with Jeff Sessions and the Trump national security team or international there when he was running for president the first time. And then Jeff Sessions became Attorney General. Remember that? Yeah. So J.D. Gordon was there at the platform committee meeting at the RNC convention to make sure that they pulled the stronger language from the platform, the stronger language against Putin, and inserted and adopt the gentler, the kinder and gentler language against Putin and Russia. This has always been what Putin wanted. And now he has carte blanche, freedom to commit atrocities, cluster bombs to kill as many women, children, innocent people as possible in Ukraine. People who can't fight back. This is a war crime. I would say it's even crimes against humanity. And he should be tried in front of the Hague. Will he? Probably not, because now he's got Donald Trump on his side. So every time you hear Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity or Greg Kelly over at Newsmax and all these idiots, these sellouts who are doing this out of bitterness because they got fired from the other places they've worked, Greg Kelly and Tucker Carlson, and they'll do anything for a buck and to get revenge. And Sean Hannity, who's just a total, complete sellout. They've sold out their country. They've sold out humanity. They've sold out the rule of law. And they certainly are not Christians. These are bad, bad people. Anybody supporting Vladimir Putin is supporting a war criminal. So I think it's important that we remind them what happened on this Palm Sunday, what Vladimir Putin did. And he's done it before. And we need to keep track of this, because if you're just going to say, well, yeah, we made the point that Trump is in bed with Putin. It got to the point where MAGA could no longer deny it because the evidence was overwhelming. So what does Trump and his traitors in the media do? They start making the case for being for Putin. They can't deny anymore what Trump and Putin's relationship is. They can't deny that Putin intervened in our elections, because he did. And we know this, and that's been proven. So when it doesn't work to deny it anymore, even to the idiot, toothless, red hat wearing MAGA that go to the rallies and maybe are on Facebook but don't watch any real news, and they really are dumb, stupid, impressionable people, low information voters. Okay? Even they were catching on that, yeah, it looks like Trump and Putin are pretty close, and everybody knows that Putin is an enemy of the United States. So what does Trump do? With the help of Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity and traitors like those guys, they start saying, Putin's not so bad. Russia's our friend. We should be more like them. This is what they've done. So this is why, since we finally were able to make the point with all of us working together, so it became accepted that there's a very dangerous friendship and agreement between Trump and Putin. We finally got that information to sink into the consciousness of the American people. And again, it was all of you that did it, because our media wasn't going to do it. At some point, little by little, we're catching on that the cavalry is not coming to save us. We are the cavalry, and this is part and parcel of that. It is really important now that we pound home to every MAGA, to our elected members of Congress, and make it part of the constant narrative. Vladimir Putin is a war criminal. He's trying to kill as many innocent people, including children, as possible, and is succeeding. And he's doing this to our ally. He is an enemy of the United States. He is an enemy of Ukraine. He is enemy to democracy. He is a war criminal. And he needs to be captured and tried at the Hague. We have to pound that. So every time Vladimir Putin's name comes up, we remind people of that. And you know what that's going to do? It's going to make it a lot harder for Trump to defend him, or Trump will have to out himself even more and start defending war crimes. And every time he does that, I'm not saying that MAGA leaves him in droves, because they don't, because these are not good people. But you will start peeling off enough people who are just like, okay, that's a bridge too far, I'm out. We've seen it happen with other issues. Usually it's when someone's 401k suffers. Usually it's people's own economics that matter. But there are certain segments of the population who, as bad as they may be, as selfish and evil as they may be, even they draw the line at being joined at the hip and canoodling with Vladimir Putin and considering him an ally and a partner when he's out there, not just accidentally killing innocent people, women and children, but trying to kill as many as possible with cluster munitions. We need to become very conversant on these things. I mean, I'll admit I had to, hunt around and look for some of this stuff when I first caught wind of this, and I'm looking and say, how do I explain this? We have to be able to talk about this in simple terms. If you hear your Republican House or Senate representative, your senator or your House member kind of being okay about Putin, immediately call and email and remind them you are supporting a war criminal. I'd love it if we had real media, real journalists in this country who would go to individually every single member of Congress, Republicans anyway, because we know where Democrats stand, and ask them point blank, do you support Vladimir Putin, who is a war criminal for committing these atrocities? Don't ask them if they think he's a war criminal. These are war crimes. That's not in question. And if they say, well, I don't really know anything about that, say, let us let us inform you then, since as a member of Congress, you're supposed to know this and you don't, and be prepared and get a reaction. Do not let them squirm out of it. They either support the war crimes or they don't. Hold their feet to the fire. And these Republicans are going to, oh, well, I just don't know. They'll try and get out of it. You know the tricks. And then use this against them in the midterms. Because I think for a large segment of the population, we know most of MAGA are just pieces of crap. Okay. They accept this stuff. They have no problem with it. They look at this as like a big game. And they feel like, well, as long as we're in the winning team, not understanding that Trump's con doesn't spread to them. He's making himself and his oligarch buddies richer. Well, he ruins your life and your finances. People are catching on about that. But let's get enough people to understand without a doubt what Vladimir Putin is doing. Because I think a lot of people don't know. And it's up to us. It is up to us to make sure they do know. And now we're getting better at this, aren't we, folks? We're getting better at this. So I'm going to pound away at it, and we'll be watching this closely. But let's make sure that Vladimir Putin's name, we don't just say his name and call him a dictator. He is a war criminal working to kill as many innocent people, including children, as possible. Let's get done. Let's get this done.